Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode here. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? This morning kind of started off to be a little bit rough, but that's beyond anything else. So I'm kind of trying a new different setup. As some of you guys may have noticed last night, that I did a test stream playing Stadia and trying to have it to where I can engage with those in the in the comments for conversation while playing the game. And it utilizes one of my Chromebooks and my Pixelbook. And so technically, if you guys want to see, I actually have both of them connected. So you guys can see that I have both of them connected right now. I'm looking at either one, and I can actually use this. Shout out to Squids. Because it was actually when I watched one of his live streams and I was able to actually I got the idea from him. So big shout out to him. And so it's called Nerd Vision. Let me drop that out. It's called Nerd Vision, and it's actually going to be like a little bit more helpful and everything like that. Michael just pops in, says just stop by to say hi, and click the like button and show support. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you for stopping by. I know you have class here just a little bit, so let's come back and watch the replay later. But today we're focusing on social platforms. We're going to be talking about social platforms and just how people are interacting with it nowadays, the types of social platforms that's available to those people out there, and just the copycat effect. And we're really going to be diving into that just a little bit here. Before I get started, though, I do want to give shout out to the channel members. So thank you guys for being a member of the channel. It's really, really much appreciated. I am glad to have you guys here. So with that being said, also, there is the link itself. The ideas for the podcast and things that I want to do, obviously, it's going to get bigger. But if you guys do want to show your support, you guys definitely know how you guys can do it. Smashing the like button is, the best way to do it because it helps circulates all this content here. For those people that, want to support in other ways, there is the PayPal link right down there below. Super Chats is also open up too as well. There's just different things that you guys can do if you guys want to help support. That's totally up to you guys to do that. It's just one of those things, but I enjoy doing these live streams every day. It just kind of helps with my life and kind of helps center me with things that I think about. So Michael says, yes, I'll be leaving soon. I have class at 10:30 today. Yes, I understand that. And I hope you have a great class session today too as well. So a couple things to talk about. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Oneplus and its smartwatch as well. We'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about Clubhouse, the audio sensation that's becoming, just like a grand thing. By the way, I don't know if you got to see it in the mirror right there, but there is the reflection of the Death Note painting. Found a spot to hang it up, so it's hung up right there. Initially, I was going to put it behind me, but then it was like, no. I mean, it'll get in the way of like the sliding mirror door to the closet here right behind me. So but yeah, we're gonna be talking about those things today and then probably lead up into it. Yesterday I went far beyond what I normally live stream for. I went on a 2-hour live stream rather than one. And I don't know if we're gonna go that route today and make it that long or whatnot. We'll see what happens then. So anyhow, let's kind of just go with OnePlus and it's a smartwatch thing. So I'll bring up this article that talks about it. And getting all kinds of notifications right now this morning. My phone's just been going off, just like off the rails. But anyways, this is from TechCrunch. So let's bring up the Nerd Vision, and there we have it. And so it says OnePlus unveils its smartwatch and Wear OS is nowhere to be seen. This is something that I will tell everybody still is a pain in the butt when it comes to wearable technology. I do miss the days of the Pebble smartwatch, as the ambition was there with Pebble. That's the way that I feel about it. But of course, Pebble, they're really bad with their finances because that's initially what broke the company. A lot of people were always left with, scratching their heads wondering, why is Pebble always going back to Kickstarter which if you don't know what Kickstarter is, where people who have great ideas for a certain thing can go to get crowdfunding done to take that idea and make it a reality. Problem with that is that with the first Kickstarter campaign that Pebble had, it did tremendously well. It was a phenomenal success. They had raised enough money to mass produce the Pebble smartwatch, and they still had money left over. And then it was when the Pebble Time and the Pebble Time Steel came, they again went back to Kickstarter to crowdfund for that. And people were a little bit skeptical about it, but they still continued to show support to Pebble because the product was really good. And so again, crowdfunding raised enough money for the Pebble Time and Pebble Time Steel. But when the Pebble 2 and the different variations of the Pebble 2 was on the rise, they did a Kickstarter again, and now people were really questioning what is the company doing with all these funds that they were getting. So eventually Pebble had to sell their proprietary patents and things like that, which was bought out, and it was Fitbit who bought majority of their stuff. And Fitbit was even kind enough that even when it basically bought all the rights and everything, the Pebble smartwatches, they initially, what they did after that was there was a group of people that came together and they called themselves Rebel. These were people who still wanted to use the Pebble smartwatch, and of course to use some of the Pebble watch's features like weather and other services connected. They would need to take over Pebble servers. And so Fitbit actually allowed them to do that. Of course, Rebel, costs $3 a month to be able to use dictation and all those different things. Basically, if you just wanted to use it as a smartwatch just to get notifications and to tell time, that is free. But if you wanted to be able to voice the text on a Pebble Time or a Pebble 2, or you wanted to get the weather and stuff like that, then you would have to pay Rebel IO for a monthly subscription at $3 to be able to utilize that feature. So smartwatches, wearable technology has been around for a while, and I told the story of Pebble because that's where it initiated from to the masses. A lot of people that just don't follow tech in that way, but our consumers were the ones that bought Pebble watches until things like Wear OS and the Apple Watch came. Why is it Android 6.0 and higher will allow you to use your SD card as an internal storage, yet some phones with Android 6.0 and higher doesn't have this option? It depends on the actual manufacturer themselves. So I know that there like some LG devices wouldn't allow you to format your SD card as part of internal storage, while companies like Motorola, that was an option that you were able to do, was to actually format your SD card to be part of the internal storage. It just depends on the OEM. So it's not so much like on the Google side thing. It's more of just like the manufacturer side, what they will allow to happen with their devices. So Pebble pretty much was like the lead in a wearable technology. But then for Apple, when they released the Apple Watch, that just for those people who are Apple fans and are really immersed in the Apple ecosystem, they had a wearable watch that worked. It really worked. And one of the things that we have learned about Apple over the last 7 years is that Apple's not behind, because they don't know what they're doing. They are behind on things because they watch these companies make mistakes. Like they watched Pebble, and they watched the mistakes that Pebble made, and they watched, several wearable companies for the Android side, and they watched the mistakes that they made. And then what Apple did was they implemented to make sure that they didn't make those same mistakes when they released the Apple Watch. And so the Apple Watch has been one device that you don't see people buy an Apple Watch and then sometimes reluctantly wear it. You know what I mean? Usually when someone buys an iPhone and they buy an Apple Watch to pair with their iPhone, they're always on said person. So the person can whip out an iPhone and do what they got to do on their iPhone, but at the same time too, on their wrist is a Apple Watch. And then they upgrade periodically just because of the new features that Apple and the Apple Watch tends to bring to the table. Right now, using wearable technology more in the fitness realm than in than just being like a bond. Hey, good morning, Coffee. How you doing today? So with that being said, Apple pretty much started a boom in wearable technology. And on the Android side, Wear OS has been absolutely absent in the entire matter when it comes to wearable OS. You have the Moto 360 and it's all its different generations of it. You have Fossil that has dipped its hands into Wear OS. You just have various different ones. I mean, and the software that's supposed to handle this on the Android side, known as Wear OS, people tend to poke fun of it, and instead of spelling it as it should be, which is wear, like wearable, like WEAR, instead of saying that, then people put like where is it, type of thing. So then it's like Wear OS. And to my surprise, this is just one of the ones that on the Google side they have not capitalized on yet. Like I've made some, I have talked about in some discussions on the talk show that we need a Pixel Watch. Google purchased the rights to purchase Fitbit. So they have it. They have all of the proprietary information that Fitbit has on wearable technology. They also have all the proprietary information that Pebble had because Fitbit acquired Pebble. So really there is no excuse other than, pure laziness or just, like an unimaginative mind has control of that sector of Google. And that's the reason why we have not seen a wearable watch come out from Google along with Google Pixels. We're hearing rumors about a Pixel Fold in the works, along with the releases of both the Pixel 6 and 6 XL later on this year. And that's an innovative standpoint when it comes to foldable technology. But what about wearable technology? Well, obviously, we kind of know that Android and Google has no real investment in wearable technology because there hasn't been any updates really to Wear OS. If you're not constantly updating the software, you're not interested in producing hardware for it. That's just my mindset. I could totally be wrong, and it could have been in the shadows, just lurking and gherking all this time with a watch that they're going to release. Who knows? But with the latest Apple Watch being able to being useful for those who are diabetic, being able to take glucose readings without being invasive, that is something that's pretty interesting, and now really has caught my attention about possibly investing in an Apple Watch for that very reason, because I am type 2 diabetic. So this is kind of hitting in my field. But anyways, Oneplus is all right, Michael, take it easy. Have a great day at school, bro. But OnePlus unveils its smartwatch, and Wear OS is nowhere to be seen. Well, why are they referencing that? So let's take a little excerpt out of it. And it says, well, before the rumors, we knew this day was coming. And after several generations of smartwatches and a handful of headphones, the watch was the next logical step for OnePlus. At today's big launch event, the company made its first major wearable official, sporting the decidedly pared down name, OnePlus Watch. As the title implies, the smartwatch is not particularly a flashy one. It has a minimalist design at $159 price to match. What perhaps most interesting here is the operating system. The watch will be running the equally straightforwardly named OnePlus Watch OS. Google's Wear OS was obviously the low-hanging fruit here. And then after that, Tizen, which Samsung has used for several generations of the Galaxy watches. So OnePlus has its own wearable OS. Hey, what's up, Jose? How's it going, man? So, I mean, obviously that's no surprise. But again, see, if Wear OS was just, whoever the lead is for Wear OS, if they were just doing things and keeping it maintained, then obviously that would have probably been what was in the OnePlus Watch, but obviously not. And so that tells you when a company that uses Android builds a different type of technology considered in the wearable technology realm, and they're not even going to use the operating system that would bond well with Android. That tells you just how bad Wear OS is and how far down the shitter the company really is. Well, the sector of Google really is. So it goes on to say, instead, the company opted to build its own operating system on top of RTOS, which is real-time operating system. CEO Pete Lau addressed the subject not long ago in a Oneplus forum, writing, "We choose to go with a smartware operating system developed based on RTOS because we believe it provides you a smooth and reliable experience while offering a great battery life, covering some of the biggest concerns we've been hearing from people looking to buy a smartwatch." And Pete Lau is not wrong there with that statement. There are people who just don't want to invest buku dollars into a wearable technology that is going to be more of a nuisance rather than an assist. See, the whole point of wearable technology is for it to be an assist to you. The reason that the people at Pebble went crowdfunding to build this idea and make it become reality to everybody was the fact is that sometimes, because we have our smartphones and we get a lot of emails, we get a lot of text messages, we get a lot of picture messages and those types of things, Facebook alerts and all this other stuff. And maybe you just may be like in a position where it's like, rude or impolite to just pull your smartphone out and start staring at your screen. But the way that you can do it without drawing, a crowd, attention to you is discreetly having it on your wrist. Because what way could you sit here and say you rock your watch on your right wrist? I mean, I rock mine's on my left wrist. That's how I've always been. But because I see people put it on their right, doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong side to do it. But let's say you have it on the right side, your right arm wrist, and you're in a meeting, and you get a message. This is a little bit more discreet in doing hand gestures like that, and then going back and paying attention, versus doing something like this. So it made sense. There was a reason to have wearable technology. It's not just a gimmicky thing to just say, oh, yeah, you have wearable technology. Like, no, it can provide an assist. But the problem that has plagued wearable technology is the lifespan of it. See, you bring something new to the table, but it's got to kind of flow with its original form. See, wearable technology is just a reboot of wearables, right? It's modern with today's modern technology. Ciova, what's up, man? Thanks for popping in, bro. Appreciate it. It provides information. It provides an assist, but it is still a callback to its original form. What it was rebooted from, which is just, an accessory on you known as a watch. And what was the whole entire purpose of the watch? To tell time, which is what wearable technology today, its main purpose is for you to tell time. But it has added in features like being able to read your messages and stuff like that. But the thing about it is that the original watch, right? The non-smart watches, their battery life lasted. There was never this thing in our discussion when we come home from work and say hello to our wives or our significant others and say, oh yeah, I'm getting ready for bed. Let me put my watch to charge. Like, no, even the Casio calculator watches, you didn't even have to charge those. And those actually had a different function in them besides just being, able to tell time. You use them as a calculator. Hell, how many times did my math teacher actually take my watch from me? Because when we would have a test, he'd be like, we're having a test today, no calculators. Then he'd look right at me. Like, Mr. Escobar, I need your watch. I need it on my desk because he knows it's a calculator. I mean, it was like, but I mean, you had battery for days, and smartwatches today, they don't bring that. I mean, that was one of the biggest things that Pebble really kind of, got off to a good footing with wearable technology, was the fact that they were willing to, like, their main emphasis was like having batteries for like a battery life, like 5 days. Like, you could go 5 days on a Pebble watch, not have to charge it. And the main reason why they were able to accomplish that was the e-ink display that they were using. Which is what they used in all their Pebble watches. I mean, the Pebble Time had color, So obviously replicating color to that display knocked off about a day and a half of battery life. So I think the Pebble Time, it was said that you were able to get 7 days with the Pebble Watch. You were able to get 5 days with the Pebble Time. But truth be told, I got 3.5 days with the Pebble Time, sometimes only 2 days. And on the actual Pebble, I was able to get 5 days. So battery is a key thing here. And now, so since OnePlus has now entered the wearable technology game, providing their own, operating system for it, and then one of the things that they are focused on, besides it doing what the traditional smartwatch would do, which is provide you notifications as an assist to your smartphone, they also incorporate in looking at battery life and making sure that you get a good amount of battery life. Now, for something that might be touchscreen, obviously, there's a lot happening in the background there whatsoever, and you couldn't put a 4,000 milliamp hour battery in a smartwatch. I don't think any company has really gotten to that point in technology that they were able to screen this call, please. Anyways, no one has gotten into that realm yet of being able to make a 4,000 milliamp hour battery compacted into a size of like a dime. Not yet. It may happen in the future. It may, but not at this point right now. So anyways, this is what the watch looks like. And to some people, they would say that it looks like a cross between a Galaxy Gear watch or Galaxy watch. The armband kind of looks very similar, reminiscent of the Apple Watch, the way that the clasp is to lock it to your wrist and secure it. But it's very simplistic. I mean, to be honest with you, if I don't go with an Apple Watch, because of the whole being able to read my glucose levels for diabetes, this watch would actually be something that I would really consider wearing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like my Moto 360, which is the first gen Moto 360, but that thing is very beastly. I mean, it's really, really, you can feel the weight on your wrist. And it's the reason why I don't wear it all the time. I wear it, at certain times where I don't want to be bothered too much, but I do still want to get notifications, like, emergency text message from my kids. I'll be able to see it on my watch and not have to pull my phone out or anything like that. But I mean, something like this looks, just by off looking at it, it just looks like it's light. Like it's light but durable, right? So it's not flimsy where it's going to get destroyed, because the casing around the display itself, the casing to the watch, not the strap, but just to the watch, looks like it can endure light scuffs and impacts from day-to-day movements. Then you have the watch band itself, which seems to be like a sporty watch band that would feel kind of comfortable on my wrist and not really bother me all so much. And then you have this really wide display. Now, the display is black, so we don't even know how thick the bezel is and the circumference of it, but to me, it's kind of looking like almost all screen. And so very, very, if not no bezels around it at all whatsoever, which I think would be great, because, really big, wide screen on your wrist, being able to read notifications and other things else that you intend to do with the watch seems to be cool. And then again, going back to the price tag, $159 for this thing, that's not bad at all whatsoever. If it can do a lot. I see buttons. So like to the right, the above right and the bottom right, it seems like there's buttons there. Blaze, what's up, man? Welcome to the podcast. And Baby Yoda, the force is strong with you, sir. Welcome here as well. But yeah, just everything about this watch just seems like it would feel a little bit comfortable. I mean, so I really wouldn't knock OnePlus for this watch. So anyways, they go on to say that the battery aspect certainly rings true. That continues to be one of the largest hangups for smartwatches, as I just stated, particularly as companies continue to add features. According to the press materials, the 402 milliamp battery gives the watch anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks of life on a charge, which is pretty impressive. A pretty impressive claim. That would put it on par with many fitness bands. So it goes on here. There are a slew of sensors on board measuring different health metrics, including heart rate and blood oxygen, accessible through OnePlus Health app. There's 4 gigabytes of storage, half of which can be used for things like music. The watch is rated IP68 waterproof. So there you have that there for that. So it is water. So it's a water and dust resistive watch. It has 4 gigs of internal storage, which basically 2 gigabytes of storage can be used to store music directly onto the watch itself. And, which is, I guess that's cool. When you go to the gym or whatever like that, and then, if the watch has, the Bluetooth connectivity to pair with your earbuds, you can literally leave your phone in the car or in the gym locker. So you're not having to lug around your phone on the gym floor, and all your music that you want to listen to while you're working out is accessible from your watch. That's actually pretty cool. The battery itself is one of the things that I'm saying that, really, 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 really kind of like emphasizes here, because the battery itself, being a 402 milliamp hour battery, sure, to everyone else, when they hear numbers like that, they're thinking to themselves, well, this is a weak battery, it doesn't have a 1000 milliamp hour battery. Yeah, but remember, this is a watch. It's smaller piece of tech. But the crazy thing about it is that this thing can go, according to them, for like a week, at least a week. Okay. They say between 1 to 2 weeks. So that could be a week and a half. That could be a week in 1 day. That could be a week and 4 days. But at least you're getting a week out of the watch before having to charge it back up. So that's actually pretty good if it really can. I don't know. I may want to invest in something like this and really kind of test it out. But this coming at a time where OnePlus just unveiled the OnePlus 9, the 9 Pro, and all of its different variations of it. And then, people questioning, why is OnePlus 9, the OnePlus 9 Pro, 256 by 12, $1,069 or something like that. Well, they're kind of getting that threshold. Flagship norms pricing is becoming acceptable at over $1,000. So that's something that people got to take in consideration. Crazy enough as it is, that's what it's going to. And with LG dropping out, being a mobile device manufacturer, we're left with really just like Samsung, as like a top contender in Android. Can't really say that the Google Pixels is, because Google seems to be favoring Samsung over its own product. So it's like they're starting to, nip at their own product and slowly cannibalize it in favor of Samsung. Because if you look at every Google Fi ad, it's like, first of all, when you make an ad, you want to put your best foot forward. And I was thinking that, hey, you would rock your Google Pixels at your best foot forward, because you obviously want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You want to market, that you provide an MVNO mobile phone service. And you also want to, put the Pixel there because you want to sell Google Pixels. So, kill 2 birds with 1 stone and just do your Google Fi ad with the Google Pixel. But no, every Google Fi ad that I see on my Twitter feed leads with the Galaxy S21. So, and then of course you see the relationship between Samsung and Google. It wouldn't surprise me if ever one day, just out of nowhere, Google decides to put down the Google Pixel and do a joint effort with Samsung and their Galaxy line to go up against Apple and their iPhone. And if they do that, that would be absolutely silly for Google to do that. But that's for another discussion or whatever. So anyways, now at this point, to those out there, let me know what you guys think of the OnePlus and their watch and their new their new devices that they just unveiled and talked about, which I think they're coming up for pre-order here soon. Anyways, we are going to be switching tracks right now. We're going to be switching tracks. We're going to be talking about what's going on with Clubhouse. Now, if you don't know what Clubhouse is, basically Clubhouse is a conversation audio only social platform where people just they build these clubhouses, which is rooms, and everyone speaks. There's no video feed or nothing like that. Everyone just speaks. Your microphone, the microphone of your phone is on, and you just speak. Literally, that's all it is. And it's catching the internet by storm to the fact that Twitter is already beta testing what they call Twitter Spaces, which is the exact same thing. I just have been invited to Twitter Spaces a couple of days ago, but I can only access it on my iPhone. It's not available on my Android devices, so that kind of sucks. And then Facebook is currently working on one itself for audio conversations only. So I mean, that's the thing that's coming up here next. Let me catch up with these comments here. I'm not into watches. I got 2 classical ones, and that's it. Yeah. And like I said, like wearable technology doesn't mean that it has to be for everybody. But I mean, I get where you're coming from. So you're somebody that's like, just because you can touch the screen and do things with it, I don't have to buy it type of thing, and that's cool. That's pretty cool. To look at it with that perception. So let's bring up Nerd Vision again, and let's go with when Clubhouse runs out of money. Why are they talking about this? Let's see. So wow, there's an ad for StreamYard. There's an ad for StreamYard on this page. That's funny. Oh, no. Well, let's bring that up. Anyway, this Clubhouse is prodigious. At just over a year old, the exclusive invite-only app still doesn't have a proper website or even an app on more than a single operating system. So again, Clubhouse is actually only available to on iOS. They say they're building an app for an Android, but it's still invite-only. So the only way I was able to get Clubhouse was somebody that has Clubhouse or has access to Clubhouse already has sent me an invite in which it enabled my account already. And then now I have invites that if somebody really wanted to join Clubhouse, I'd be able to send them an invite, and it would allow them access in instead of them having to wait until Clubhouse invites them in. But anyways, so they continue to talk about this because there's not a website for it. So you can't Google like clubhouse.com or clubhouse whatever. There's no actual official website for it, and then the app is only available for people with iOS to actually use it. So there's no Android app. But to go on, what it lacks in usability, though, the App Store chart topper makes up in celebrity, with celebrity, millions of users, and access to seemingly endless spigot of funds. The platform offers audio only chat rooms with hosts who talk and up to thousands of guests who listen. Kind of like a live podcast with audience participation in a gated online community. For a lot of folks, the phenomenon of Clubhouse meteoric rises and the backdrop of an ongoing global pandemic or somewhat. Yeah. So it says you have to wonder whether Clubhouse would be this appealing in any other year. And that is true. Would something like this be appealing in any other year? So YouTube is starting to copy TikTok and IG stories. They actually have been. Apparently, you were able to do YouTube Shorts in the year 2020. So, but I'll get into that. Lauren says, "I like Clubhouse." I mean, yeah, Clubhouse is good, and they are. And the question of that is that it is absolutely true. I mean, if we didn't have this pandemic situation happen in 2020 and life was as it was back in 2019, 2018, would Clubhouse have that big of an impact like it has now? You've never seen YouTube Shorts? Sneed does YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts are just, well, I mean, I'll get into all that here in a little bit. Let me finish this one out, and then we'll get into the YouTube Shorts thing, and I'll explain all that stuff. But Club Sandwich. Club Sandwich. That's funny. You hate new social medias, to be honest, because there's so many of them. There's so many of them, and people are joining different ones. It's like, at first we had like the basic ones, Facebook, Twitter, and then Instagram, and then all of a sudden, like, everything just started going. Snapchat came into the fray, and we were okay with like having like 4 social platforms or whatever. But now there's just so many. Now there's just absolutely. I mean, there's MeWe, there's Minds, there's Parler, there's Tiller, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pixart. Oh shit, there's a whole bunch of them, man. That's already been figured out. But anyways. Yeah, so I mean, there is concern just about like the life expectancy of Clubhouse, and see, here's the thing about social platforms. And everyone's always worried about whether they're going to run out of money, they're going to shut down, they're going to sell. Like, look, these social platforms are like flavors of the month. They're going to last for a specific time, and then they're going to fade away when something new comes along. I mean, we had social networking like Facebook and Twitter, which was consisted of microblogging. And that kind of died out in favor of photo sharing, and Instagram became a sensation on that. And And then Snapchat came into the fray and they're like, yeah, we're photo sharing too, but we're discreet, private, and your photos only last for like 10 seconds and then they disappear. And everyone's like, oh, cool. Well, we can do something with that. And so people started doing Snapchatting, and then Snapchat brought in an idea of like, yeah, besides post, sending, pictures to your friends, we're going to do this thing where you can send pictures and make like a storyline reel, like a slideshow. And so Snapchat had stories, and then Instagram's like, hey, we want that too. So then Instagram started doing it, and then Facebook started doing it, and then now Twitter has it. So you have the ability to do the same thing that Snapchat does. And really what every social platform is trying to do is grab the same features that make other social media platforms very popular. So that way they can try to consolidate where one app fits for everything that you want, right? So like, Twitter working on Spaces, because obviously it's adopting the form of what Clubhouse is, since a lot of people have taken to Clubhouse and they enjoy being in Clubhouse and just having these conversations. And again, Clubhouse is not like it live streams to anything. There is no live streaming at all whatsoever. It's just a chat room that's audio. And so everyone just goes in there and talks. And that's really all there is to it. Can you get a copy of it? Yes, you can. I'll be the first to tell people, because I'm a no bullshit type of guy, but you can screen record, like on an iPhone, you can hit to screen record, and then it will record everybody talking, because obviously the app is open in the foreground and you're having a discussion with people. You can record that and then upload it as a video to something else. Or you can just convert it from a video to an MP3, whatever you want. But technically, from within the app itself, natively, there's no control. Not control, there's no record. So you cannot, hit, I want to, save a copy of this conversation in the Clubhouse chat room, because it's not meant for that. But you see Twitter kind of doing that. You see Twitter with Twitter Spaces. So you have, and pretty much Twitter pretty much has that already. The only thing that separates Twitter from, like, say, YouTube is that the monetization thing. I mean, you can get sponsors on Twitter if you find people who like what you do on Twitter and you use it for, for making money. Then literally you could do that. Because, like, think about it like this: Twitter is microblogging, because you write you just write a small little blog about what you're thinking and what you're going through in that moment, right? And that's shared on Twitter for everyone to read, respond to, like, or retweet, which is basically sharing it so people that they follow can see what you said. Now they have what's called fleets. Fleets, you can type a phrase and it's saved within a story type reel, like Snapchat. You can share a photo and edit the photo minorly, depending if you're on iOS or on Android, because there's certain things that iOS can do with Twitter fleets that Android's Twitter fleets can't do. But you can share a photo, and then you can record a short video. Now, the difference there between Android and iOS is that on iOS you can record a video and then you can edit text overlaying on the video. On Android, you can't. You can record a video and then send it to your fleets. You can't, like, type in. You can't record, like, a video of like a sushi guy making your sushi and then put, like, a text statement on the video that says "my sushi being made." You can't do that. You can do it on iOS, but you can't do it on Android. So those are some of the things. Mike says, I feel like that fleets had already died out. It depends. I mean, there are people who actually know how to use fleets to market for them, and that's entirely what they do it for, and it's working out. So it just depends. Like all things when it comes to social media, the social media becomes very successful to the user if the user is using it religiously. And that means, like, every day. Me, I don't use fleets every day, so I don't really share a whole lot on that. But I mean, so yeah, you have microblogging, which is, sending that 140 character or more statement on Twitter. You have the ability to share stories like Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook by doing fleets, right? You have Twitter Spaces, which is contending against Clubhouse, and that's just for group audio chat rooms. And then people are like, well, what about Twitter versus TikTok? Well, Twitter has always been a contender to TikTok if you figured out how to do it. And there's no special trick to it. Twitter will allow you to upload 60-second video clip. The only difference between a video posted on Twitter and then a video posted on TikTok is that with TikTok, you have those little features like doing duets, stitching, those types of things, right? And then the format, the way that everything looks in the UI, you'll have the video in portrait mode, and then you'll have like a heart, like right here. Say I'm using the screen right now, a heart icon here, a comment icon here, a share icon here, and then the person's profile, like the little the way to make it look like a vinyl record at the corner. So you have those on screen with the video, and that's what sets it apart from a 60-second clip that's uploaded to Twitter, which when you upload a 60-second clip on Twitter, it's just a video clip in 60 seconds. There's no everything that you want to do as far as being interactive and engaging with the 60-second clip is all done outside of watching the video. So when you're back to your Twitter feed, then you'll see where you can like it, you can retweet it, you can post a comment to it. But yes, every social platform is starting to really wipe from the other one and not really have an original form. Let's see. I see Shorts beta now on my YouTube app. Yeah, because people are really it's really starting to pick up. See, they started giving people access to being able to do, and it's not really an access type thing. So like some people had posted and been like, yeah, to be able to do shorts, you got to get access to it. No, you don't, because literally you can start a YouTube channel entirely of you making shorts. All you really have to do is just make a video that's 59 seconds or less. That's it. You have to shoot it in portrait mode. So you can't go landscape like this traditional format. You got to do it like how Instagram does it, like how people on TikTok do it. Portrait. You shoot a 60-second clip or 59-second clip in portrait and upload it, and that is a YouTube short. Now, it does look different when you're watching it on YouTube from iOS versus Android. When you watch it on Android, it looks like a regular YouTube video that's only 59 seconds long. There's really not a lot to it. Hey, babe. There's really not a lot to it. But when you watch these 59-second clips on YouTube, as known as YouTube Shorts, when you watch it on an iPhone, you'll see... Hold on. Let me see. Well, I have an iPhone here because Sneed posts shorts all the time. If you go to Sneed's channel, you'll see like on the title on some of his stuff, it says, I took a screenshot of it so I can show you guys, but it says, he hashtags like on the title, he hashtags where it says shorts. Okay. So, here you go. You guys see like right here, it has all those, thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, share. It has that format. When you're watching, a short on YouTube. But if you go on Android, it doesn't show that at all. You don't have those things on the side when you watch it on Android. It just looks like how you shoot a video and upload it in portrait. The only way to know it's a short is that it is 59 seconds or less. If it goes beyond a minute, it is considered a full-fledged video. Okay, babe. If it's slow at work, you can hang out and listen, babe. You don't have to go. But why is YouTube doing this? And obviously, to remain competitive against other platforms, it deems a threat. This is the reason why any social platform adopts something from another social platform. This is the reason why Facebook and Twitter adopted stories from Snapchat, because they seen Snapchat was becoming a threat. People were really getting heavy into the whole Snapchat lifestyle, and they even had Snapchat influencers, and people were given, special benefits and perks for being a Snapchat influencer. So Instagram adopted stories because they wanted to pull some of those people back, or people that use both platforms. They wanted to solidify them being in one. It's probably optimized for an iPhone. It's not really an optimization thing when it comes to that. Really, what it is just the development when it comes to it. So the YouTube iOS app developed by Google, obviously they implemented those changes to the user interface in there versus doing it for Android just yet. And I don't know, maybe Google has this thing where they think that if it flops on iOS, they don't want to have it identified with their Android app, which is the stupidest thing ever, because it just looks so dang fragmented, with all Google service apps always having different user interface styles between competing OSs. I just think it's stupid. But anyways, so the whole purpose of these companies copying each other is because they want to try and yeah, that's what you meant. Okay. I'm sure Android will catch up eventually. Once it's no longer considered beta, once they have more people doing it. Because the whole point of YouTube doing shorts is to try to get some of the more popular people that's on TikTok to go to them. They want to monopolize on the whole content creating realm, and that includes content creating on a smaller scale, such as 59-second clip videos. If YouTube can monopolize on that, they will stay in the forefront. That is the problem with YouTube per se when it comes to YouTube shorts, and not just shorts, but just YouTube in general. Yesterday I did mention it. I didn't get any feedback from Max Lee, so I don't know if he saw the live stream or he doesn't know about it. But I did talk about what he talked about Sunday night. It was Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night on Twitter, he posted a series of videos. Now, they're not there anymore because I went back and looked. I seen in the live chat, Philip McKinnish asked, where's his video? His videos were deleted. He posted, I think the most that I saw, I think, was like 4 or 5 videos. And in those videos, Max Lee was completely fed up with YouTube. And the last couple of videos, he had said he was taking down all his videos from his channel here on YouTube. I think it's now known as Dr. E. It's not known as Max Lee anymore. It still is the Zito Max channel, but it's just now he just changed the name of it to Dr. E. And he focused on his e-skateboards. But Max Lee has been on YouTube for a long time. I think it was, he said 2008 or some mid 2000s, he started doing videos on YouTube about computers, slowly transitioned over to Android and rooting and custom ROMs and stuff like that a little bit later. But his very first videos were based upon, computer building, understanding software and all this other stuff, how to overclock your CPU, but not going too far on overclocking it so you don't actually fry your CPU. Those types of videos he was making. So he's been around for a long, long time. And for someone of his stature who has been on YouTube for a long time to feel like he's been alienated by YouTube tells you that YouTube knows no bounds on just how far it would dick people over. I mean, the things that Max said, I can really resonate with what he's saying. And I understand fully where he's coming from. He went from making, videos about Android phones, doing reviews on Android phones, talking about how iPhone sucks in his opinion, and doing custom ROM videos and rooting phones. Like every time there was a new Samsung Galaxy phone that came out, like not even a week later, he would have a written article on his website, highonandroid.com, and then he would have a video to kind of show you guys how he did it. And then he'll also, if there was any issues that would happen during the process of rooting and installing a custom ROM on the new phone, he would actually show you guys what to do in those scenarios. So literally, he was guinea pigging all his phones that he pays out of pocket for because he was recording himself doing the process of rooting the phone and then flashing the custom ROM. And if anything went wrong, he kept the camera rolling and continued to record as he found a way to fix the issue. And then what he would do is take that long ass clip. And this is, I'm assuming here, I'm not saying this is exactly what he does, but I'm assuming he does this, but he'll take that long ass clip of what he recorded of him starting the process of rooting to the end game result of having a new custom ROM on his phone. And he would edit and chop up a lot of the dead air, a lot of the very boring parts, I guess you can say, to bring it down to like a 15-minute video of him from beginning to end, rooting, custom ROMing, finito, fully customized Android device from Samsung, from Google, from Oneplus, from whatever. There wasn't a phone that he couldn't root. But over the years, he wanted to do something different. He hit that wall where he wanted to do something different on YouTube. And I know exactly what he's talking about because I had hit that wall a couple of months ago. And now I am doing something different here on YouTube. I still talk tech. I still talk about things, but I incorporate other things into it, like my other interests or whatever. And it has totally changed. I've gone from making videos to just solely live streaming on this channel. And it has changed. And yes, I'm feeling the pinch just like him. Like him, he used to get, 150,000 views, 200,000 views, 500,000 views. Um, he got the views before. Now he's not, with all his videos where he talks about the different electronic skateboards that he works on. Him building the Icebox e-board, which is basically an e-board with a cooler that's attached to it to become like a chair. So you're riding it kind of like a micro go-kart. And he's been doing all those videos. Anyways, he feels like he's being dicked around by YouTube. He feels like that because he's not doing the tech video stuff that, of course, the algorithm works against him now. And yes, he's right, because I'm not doing videos just talking only about mobile smartphones. I'm doing video game streams, like I'm playing Stadia and live streaming it and whatnot, whatever. So the algorithm on YouTube looks at me and says, hey, you're not doing what you used to do before. So we're not really going to push your videos around anymore like we did, because like before I even tried to be like a variety type of channel, when I was just singled to one topic, pretty much like what Kevin Breeze and everybody else pretty much tells people is like, stick to a topic, stay with it and grind it out, because that's how you'll grow on YouTube. And he's absolutely right, because that's the way the algorithm rolls. If let's say you want to make a YouTube channel talking about various different types of hot dogs and whatnot, and how people eat hot dogs in different places of the world. If you solely stuck to that, you would grow within that realm. But the moment that you switched off and you did a video talking about, the best way to clean wine stains off your carpet, and then the algorithm kind of like is like, okay, you didn't do a hot dog video today, so what I mean. And where does this pertain to a content creator? Where this pertains is what type of content you're wanting to do and what your intentions are here on YouTube, right? If your intentions is to make this your day-to-day career, like you're absolutely dependent on the AdSense and sponsorships that you would get here on YouTube, then you would have to stick to one topic and stay with that and not step out of bounds on that. If you're a person that's like, yeah, I get money from AdSense, it's nice, but I'm not solely dependent on AdSense and all that other stuff, well then yeah, you really wouldn't have to care about it. I just stopped caring though. Yeah, if you're not trying to really grow exponentially here on YouTube, like you want the growth because you want your channel to succeed, but it's not like a diehard thing where it's like, I have to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I need 100,000 views per video. If you're not grinding that hard, then yeah, you don't have to worry. But if you're grinding that hard, then yeah, you would need to follow that format for how the algorithm does it. And so Max is tired of it. Max is tired of their shit, and he threatened to leave. Now his videos are gone on Twitter, so I can't really tell you guys, like, I can't post a link to the Twitter. I can't retweet. I should have retweeted it, but then again, if I retweeted it, you guys would have just seen the broadcaster deleted this video. But anyways, point being is that I know how Max feels. He's tired of it, And one of the reasons why YouTube does this is because they are a monopoly in the content creating realm. There is no other platform that can offer you the things that you can get like you get here on YouTube. You get the ability to live stream. YouTube adopted stories like Snapchat has. So now, as a content creator, when you have a set amount of subscribers, a set amount of views, you can have access to these features where you can share stories like you would on Snapchat. And the whole purpose of this is to consolidate everybody into one spot and stick with that one spot. If YouTube literally brought in the ability to microblog, do you know how it would just be like a one-stop shop for creators? Because then creators would be able to post like they post on Facebook and Twitter on YouTube, which you kind of can, but it just doesn't have that feel like Twitter does or like Facebook does. So that's the reason why not a lot of creators really do that. But you can create a post on YouTube. You can share a story on YouTube. You can live stream to YouTube. You don't have the ability to group live stream. That's another downfall that YouTube has. In all this time, things like StreamYard and Melon and various other live streaming platforms have capitalized on the ability to live stream to YouTube and have multiple broadcasters on as a group collectively for a podcast. On YouTube, through mobile app or through computer, you cannot do that yet. They said that when they edited Hangouts on air, they were going to implement that into it, and then YouTube totally blew it off. But why did YouTube blow it off? Because they really don't care. They really don't care at all whatsoever. I'm flying solo today, Mike, because we're almost hitting the 1 hour mark, and I'm gonna end it here pretty soon. But if you want to bring it up on one of your live streams and you want someone to join in with you, let me know, and we can continue the conversation further on there and get different perspectives. If you want to do that, we can do it on yours, and bring Latrell in and tech for your needs, and maybe we'll just have like a 4-person conversation about it. YouTube should have implemented that a long time ago, but they didn't. They said they were going to when they ended Hangouts on Air, and then they never did. It never came. StreamYard capitalized on it. So StreamYard pretty much is what everyone knows of. But there's various other ones. I mean, like if you don't want to use something that's very simplistic like StreamYard and you want to be able to kind of tweak and work your live streams out, then you can go with OBS. You can go with that. And, you know, OBS is intimidating to some people who don't even know what it is. But once you start messing with it and you get the hang of it, then it's pretty simple and easy to set up. But that's if you want to take the time to make your live streams look a certain way and set it up that way. Me personally, I just want to hit broadcast and get going. And so StreamYard is where I'm mostly at. But eventually one day I will fuck with OBS, you know, especially with the fact that I do Google Stadia live streams. But you have all these social platforms that's really, you know, really copycatting each other and trying to get these ideas because they're really trying to just you have this whole group of people and you're trying to divide the plate up and have it like, these are YouTubers, these are TikTokers, these are Snapchatters, these are Twitterers, these are Facebookers, these are, you know, me-me-me's. I call them me-me-me's. You know, they're really trying to just grab their people and pull them in. And they want the ones that are going to stay with them and them only. You know, the way YouTube sees it, if I would only use YouTube for everything, they would love me. You know, if I literally like made a video showing myself deleting Snapchat, deleting Facebook, deleting Twitter, deleting MeWe, deleting Minds, deleting Parler, deleting Tiller, deleting all these different social platforms. If I made a video showing that I deleted that and I'm only going to stick on YouTube, they would like me. See, if you want a multicam setup, then OBS is good. Yeah, you can multicam setup on OBS. I actually have an unorthodox one. Want to see something that's funny? Boom! I got 2-person view here. So camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. I'm actually using 2 Chromebooks. That's what's happening here. Anyways, so I mean, those are some of the things that you know, I look at it. I look at these platforms and I say, there's a lot. So what have I recently done? Well, Facebook has been deactivated. For those who didn't know, I deactivated my Facebook and it got the hell off of there because of the certain practices that happens on Facebook. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So that's now out of the equation. Snapchat is probably the next one to get axed. So I still have the rest of my social platforms. I still have access to them. And little by little, I'm really watching how I use the social platform. And it really, right now, it's really looking like Snapchat is the next to get axed. What I'm really going down to is just going down to one. And as of lately, and those people who follow me on Twitter know this already by now, but I've been very active on Twitter. Twitter has been mostly where I've shared a lot of my things, like the comic books I bought from the comic book store that I was like being, you know, all super nerdy about, you know, Spawn and Web of Spider-Man, the hologram cover. I shared that on Twitter. That was the first destination that it really went to anyone to know that I had it. And then doing live streams on it. I haven't done a Twitter space setup yet. I have the access to do it. I just haven't done it yet. I might eventually do that at a time where I know that multiple people are free to join me in there and have a conversation and really just have a conversation. I have no intentions of recording the conversation and uploading it anywhere. I want to use it for the intended purposes of what it's for. Just people engaging in audio conversation on the social platform without need of video camera or live streaming or anything like that. Kind of like what people do on Periscope. Because I noticed this. A lot of my friends use Periscope. They live stream and they talk. They live stream and they talk on there. And it's just conversation. It's nothing like how we do on YouTube. And I always feel like that if they had access to Twitter Spaces, they could pretty much do the same thing like they're doing on Periscope and not have to worry about anyone, you know, downloading or screen recording their live stream, because technically they're not live streaming anything. And with Twitter Spaces, you do have the ability to govern who can come in. You can make the room private where only the people you've selected to join can join in. And then you don't have to worry about, anyone, eavesdropping or doing anything like that, because it's a conversation between you and everybody in there. There's people that can listen. There's people that can request to talk. And if they request to talk, you give them the ability to talk. And you can have a conversation with just more than 3 people at a time. You can have a conversation with 6 people in there. I really think that Twitter Spaces is actually going to be helpful for those people who are on Twitter that don't have access to Clubhouse, but want to be able to just, have conversations with people that don't live in their city. Well, then that's one way you can do it. Tech for Your Needs has talked to me about that. I never tried it. I'm eventually going to incorporate that in something that I do on a daily, just at least to have like a 1 hour conversation with people and just chat it up. We don't even have to make topics. You know what I mean? We just go in there and just talk about whatever. And eventually that's going to happen. So I have access to it on my iPhone. I don't have access to it on Android. So that's what sucks. But eventually, Twitter Spaces will be available. I think they said in the next month or so, Twitter Spaces will be rolled out for everybody to be able to do. And Facebook is currently working on their version of it. I haven't heard anything else on what it's going to be called. Actually, let's search that right now. Let's see what it's going to be called. Typing one-handed. Very slowly. Let's see if Facebook actually has a name to theirs. So they're building something to compete with Clubhouse. That's all we really get is just they're building something to compete with Clubhouse, but they don't actually have an official name. Like Twitter calls it Spaces. Facebook still doesn't have. Let's see. After cloning TikTok, Facebook moves. Facebook cloned TikTok. They do shorts like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff. They have that on Facebook now. Or are they referencing because Instagram is owned by Facebook, so Reels is actually you would call that a Facebook move. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like that Facebook doesn't have an official name for what they're going to call theirs. Go figure on that one. But anyways, to sum it up in a nutshell, Shorts is pretty much what TikTok and Instagram Reels is. 59-second video clips. That's pretty much it. You can be creative in your editing skills to make them like how you can edit them on TikTok. You can do that with a video editor if you want to. You can do it far beyond that, because if you have access to things like Final Cut Pro, or if you have access to even the most basic simplistic ones like what's it called, Power Director, then you can actually edit these 59-second clips and kind of get creative with it. But what most people do to make it become identified by YouTube that it's considered a short is that they hashtag shorts in the title. And so, the only way to really, you don't need a set amount of subscribers. You can have 0 subscribers and you can have 0 views on your YouTube channel, and you're already qualified to make YouTube shorts. So that's the only cool thing about it is that if that's something that you intend to do, you can. You can. If you're a TikToker, well, then this is how TikTokers are going to break into YouTube on a big time level, because they can take the same things that they make on TikTok and they can upload it to YouTube and hashtag shorts in the title and start building a fan base of YouTube shorts. So, yeah. I'm using Power Director more. Oh, you pay for the premium one? Nice. It's got a lot of good little features. It has Power Director. I might do one another day talking about Power Director and all the changes that's happened to it, because they have implemented a lot of big things with Power Director. And I think that, again, but it still retains the very simplistic way of editing a video for content creating on YouTube. So anyways, guys, ladies and gentlemen, those who watch, thank you guys so much for coming in and watching today's podcast episode. We're going to end it right now at about an hour in already. And hopefully I was able to explain what YouTube Shorts is, and also like how these social platforms are copycatting each other. If you guys want me to follow up on this topic, let me know in the comment section of the video, and I will do it again. Well, not again, but I will do a follow-up to it to continue on more in depth about the copying between social platforms. Also, let me know if you guys are going to get the Oneplus smartwatch. If you guys are looking to do it, it's $159 for it. It runs its own proprietary operating system. If you missed the very beginning of this podcast, go back and check it out where I talk about it. If you're watching the replay, well then hashtag Taco Tuesday to let me know that you guys watched it all the way through to this point. Really appreciate it. Smash the like button because it helps circulate it. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. You guys have been absolutely amazing. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow with another one. Till then, peace.